Can't hear you. I don't know if you've been muted or something.
Oh, sorry. I've been saying something since. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Can you hear me
sorry.
now?
Yes, I
Please.
can hear you. I thought you were
Oh,
just,
sorry. No, no,
yeah.
no, no. Yes, I think okay, so let me take it from the beginning. So good day and welcome to today's class. So today we'll be looking at what is the auditor word responsibility. Auditor responsibility when it comes to what to non-compliance with what with laws and regulation. So as the auditor, one of or as auditor or as a word as a professional accountant, one of our key responsibility is to make sure that what we help our clients, we remain alert. And if there's any instance of non-compliances, we are expected to disclose such information. So meaning now that as an auditor, as an accountant, the public interest comes first before the employer interest. The public interest comes first before the employer or the client what interest. If our organization employer is doing things that is against the public policy, then there's what we are expected to disclose that. So when it comes to what to non-compliance with what with laws and regulation, there's a split responsibility here. A split responsibility means that there are two parties here. We have the auditor and we also have the management as well. So when it comes to issue of non-compliance with laws and regulation, the management have responsibility. The auditor also have responsibility. So we'll be looking at what are the responsibility of the management? What are the responsibility of the auditor when it comes to what to non-compliance with what laws and regulation? And the third thing that we are also going to be doing here now is to do some practice question. And there are basically two practice questions so far that we'll be looking at, which is we'll be looking at adding groups and we'll also be looking at what the Putin and what's called when it comes to what laws and regulation. So there are just three things here, which is our focus. What is the responsibility of the management and what is the responsibility of the auditor? And we'll do some practice question. Then, what is the responsibility of the management? The responsibility of the management is to make sure that when it comes to laws and regulation, is to make sure that they have a sound internal control system, a good internal control system, so that this internal control system will be able to prevent it. It will also able to to detect it. That is one of the main responsibility of the management to set up a internal control system that is working. Internal control system that is working. Internal control system that is effective. It's not just about you setting it up. It must be It must be effective. So when it comes to to laws and regulation, it is the auditor responsibility to make sure that our organization we are complying with all relevant laws and regulations. Because in practice sometimes you see a lot of cases whereby organization will just they are going to have some instance of non-compliance. What is the word? Who are those parties that is responsible for that? It is it is the management. It is the management that need to it is the management that need to ensure that their organization comply with all laws and all laws and regulation. So how can management discharge this particular responsibility? One of the way management can discharge this responsibility is to is to make sure that they set up effective internal control system. And the internal control system that is effective. Internal control system that is effective. So that if there's any instance of non-compliances, this internal control system will able to it will able to prevent it, and it's also able to detect it. So that is one of the responsibility of the management. Set up set up internal control system that is working. So that if there's any instance of non-compliance, then we're able to detect it. What is now the responsibility of the auditor? The responsibility of the auditor is to make sure that you exercise that professional skepticism from the beginning of the audit to the end of the audit. You need to remain alert that something bad can happen. The client is not going to comply with. They will do something that is against the public policy. So the auditor responsibility here should be what? Should be alert. Exercise professional skepticism throughout the process of the audit. So that if there's any instance of non-compliance with regulation, we're able to detect it, then we'll take the appropriate action. So what are now some of the example of NOCLAR? NOCLAR means what? Non-compliance with with laws and regulation. NOCLAR is what? Non-compliance with laws and regulation. That the government asks you to do certain things, and you did not do it. Is an example. And there are two things that we need to carefully watch. There's what we call omission. Omission means that the law is not followed. Then the next one under NOCLAR is what we call commission. It means that the law is followed, but not properly or completed. Regulation can say this. You just take part and you leave one. It's like, for example, now let's look at it from accounting standard point of view. Accounting standard can say that, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, do this. This is how you do the measurement. These are the disclosure that you need to provide. They will just provide small disclosure and they will run away. They won't do the remaining one. That is like the commission under this particular concept that we are talking about. That it means that the law is followed but not properly or completed. You can say that, I'm using the words, I'm using the way, and at least in IS 12, we have the OECD principle. And maybe very soon now, IS 12 will be amended from the income tax, just because of the word, just like in OECD, I think we have CD. That's what we have Pillar 2. So due to some of this due to some of the changes, due to some of the things that this Pillar 2 is bringing on board now, then it's also affecting IS 2. Then your organization sign up for you are part of the OECD countries. You sign up for it. So if there's if this new pillar is coming on board now, they will just take a little bit and they you will not follow it completely. That is the commission. The omission is that you completely you did not even follow it at all. And some of these things, this NOCLAR as well, it can be intentional and it can also be unintentional. Intention is you deliberately, it is not as if nothing, we deliberately omit it. You deliberately falsify that record. That is intentional. Then unintentional, which sometimes we also call mistake, sometimes we can refer to as error. Maybe due to some oversights, then let's say, for example, that we're supposed to file our return, let's say as of today, but something happened, or maybe someone forget. I can remember there was one particular time, but this one was our mountain. We used to have within our mountain then, I think when I was in the industry, our mountain is usually we used to have 4 working days. We used to have 4 working days to complete it. So meaning by working day 5, the report will be sent to the management. So I think there was one time, and our reporting date, we usually use the last Friday of every month. We use the word the last Friday of every month. So meaning now that, let's say for example now, the last Friday of this month is on the 26th. So in this company, we use what once, like for example now, this is P words. At least we are going to P6 now. So if it is not on half year, because this is going to be like our half year now. So if it is half year, then we are going to take the words, we'll take it till the last day of the month. But like the last one that we just finished now, which is P words, I think that's P5. So in P5 now, we are going to take on the 29th. So we take what? So meaning now that our working day one now is going to be what? Our working day one is going to be on Monday. But let's say, if you look at what now, September, I'll be July. In July now, I think that's our P3. So that one is fine. So in July now, the last working day. So our cutoff date now is the 25th. So our working day one now is on the 28th of July. So I think there was a time I just joined in and I was like, I think I mix up this particular working day. So, in finance, there are some journal that you need to post in working day one. Although what I've done is what I've prepared all the words, some of the journal. So, but I'm yet to what to post it because there's a date. I need to post that particular journal by working day one. So I was still thinking that tomorrow is what tomorrow is our working day one. So my line manager just sent me, oh, Washi, have you posted this particular transaction? I was like, I'm still leaving it to tomorrow. And was like, today is working day one. I was like, so sometime you can do, let's say for example now, I now fail to assuming that my line manager didn't send me a message that was it because there's a calendar whereby everybody name is. So there are some tasks that I'm usually doing. And once I completed it, I would just knock it up. So I think my manager was just reviewing that calendar and he noticed that, just want to say that, okay, just a catch up. That was it. What's going on? Yeah, you have to post this particular journal. I was like, it's tomorrow. He was like, it's today. So there are some time when you do some unintentional mistake. So that is, we now have what? We have some types of law. And basically, we have the law can be categorized into two. Let me just come from that angle. The types of law, there are some law that will affect our what? There are some law that have impact on the financial statement. And there are some law that have impacts on our operating, the way we are going to operate our business. So we can look at those law from these two angles, from accounting perspective. Like I can refer the word the ISA, the IFRS as a law because it has impact. It has a direct impact on my financial statement. I also have the ones which are fundamental to the operating of a business. Just like for example, I think sometimes ago, there's this words. I think I work in a water company then, and we used to have words. On the regulator is, I think then it was Ofwat. So Ofwat is the words. They usually words. They are like the regulator for those companies in the water sector, and they used to have what? They used to have like we used to call it AMP. We have like at least currently now they are in AMP 8. So AMP 8 is usually like a 5 years. Like this particular regulators now is going to give the water company that these are what I expect you to do for the next for the next 5 years. And the current AMP now is what? I think this is AMP 8 if I'm right. I can't remember. Yes. So the law now and the AMP 8 to what you can see it is from 20 what? It's going to be from this 2025 down to what?
2030.
To 2030. So it's usually like a 5 years. So this one now is a what? Is a regulation that will have impact on my what? On the way those companies in the what? In the water sector is going to affect them. Because Ofwat can say that, oh, I need you to, this is usually a very much, you can even see this is what 101 for the world, for the whole of England and Wales. So this like a what now, a regulation. And if Ofwat asks them to what to do something, if you feel that what, oh, what's Ofwat is what is giving you, they usually have what we have what we call, what do we used to call this thing? We used to go for CMA. So there's also a particular word authority. So there are some environment that their regulation is too what is too complex. So if this particular regulator asks me to do something now, their regulation have impact on the way I'm going to charge my fees.
Yeah.
So, but
Mm.
if the IFRS now will just tell me that, oh, Kwasim, this is how you are going to work, this is how you are going to account for your revenue. It doesn't what it will not inform you how are you going to carry out your business. So, in regardless of whether it is the one that have impact on the financial statement or the one that have impact on the
Mm.
operating, organizations still need to try as much as possible to comply with it. But don't forget, what is the responsibility of the management? The responsibility of the management is to set up a what? In internal control.
No control.
Yeah. And the auditor now is for you to remain alert,
Yeah.
exercise professional skepticism.
Citizen.
Yeah. Because there are some times, especially in the water sector, it's very crazy, whereby they used to find a lot of company whereby, if like for example, I think I work in angling then, and so and there used to what there are some time whereby if your pipe went to go and burst, and I think we solved a case together then, I can remember, and I remember well, I think I relate to that case. There are some time whereby if a pipe burst or something happened, sometimes it's usually caused by the farmers. Because
Mm.
you know that there's a pipe on that word, and they'll just take their tractor to that particular location. Like for example, now I know that there's a pipe here, and if my tractor just hit this particular pipe, now it will burst, and they will go. And at the end of the day, they will say that is a water complaint. So some of them is usually what it's usually caused by those farmers because. So those are words. Those are some of the things that what company need to do, and you still need to comply. So, and lastly, what is the auditor responsibility? Auditor response to non-compliance. And I've summarized the article. And the first thing that the auditor needs to do is please, you need to understand the nature of the word, the nature of the act, the circumstances of it. Like for example, now, let me see if we're using this one. Let me say news. There's some time whereby this particular word, this particular regulator can say that, oh, I want you to what? I want you to pay this so fine. They can find the water company. Now they should pay the fine as a result of what? Maybe their reservoir or something was like, okay. So as the auditor now, for them to what? For them to, for this offer to ask you to what? To pay a what? A penalty. As the auditor, you need to first of all what? You need to first of all understand the nature of the heart. So at least let's say on the news like 5 days ago now, this particular regulator has angling water and southwest to what to pay a fine of what of this. And I'm a product of angling water. So when I saw something like this on the news now, I was like, oh wow, what happened? So the first thing as the auditor you need to do, and you can see what is the causes. Say what there's a failure, meaning now that there's something happened. So is the regulator. So the first thing now, and there's a lot of time. This is Thames Water is the biggest in world, I think, in England. So whereby they will give them some fine. So what are we trying to say in essence here is you need to first of all understand the nature. So meaning that I need to go and read this word now. I need to go and read this particular report. Why is Ofwat asking what angling water? And I think they asked angling water to pay what you can say 62.8 million. This is very, very well. This is a very huge amount. And the southwestern to what to pay 24. So for the regulators to say that you should do this, it means that there's a what? There's a non-compliance. So the first thing as the auditor you need to do is understand what the nature and the circumstances of it. What lead to it? So that's why we can what? And that's why when we are going forward, when we are going for audit, these are some of the things that we need to understand. Who is the regulator? Let's say, for example, now, oh, this is what? This is angling water. I know that what? This is their regulator. So the next thing now is just to read about the industry. There are some time whereby we can spend almost like 3 weeks or 2 weeks sometime just trying to study what the regulator of that sector is, because I need to understand the regulator of my client for us to be able to perform very well. What is Ofwat saying about them? Is there any penalty that they have asked them to pay in maybe some few years or within so time? So as the auditor, the first thing is understand the nature of the word of the heart and the circumstances in which it leads to. And what is the effect on the financial statement? Understand the nature. Is it omission or is it commission? Like for example, this case now, this one will be a commission. Like maybe someone within the reservoir team didn't able to do a good work, and it led to what? It led to that. For them to ask you to pay this particular and this one is on sewage. So it's like the recycling was part of the business. Then, and what is the impact? I know the impact already, but there are some times that we'll still fight it. Like this is a very material amount. So if you have 68 point this is almost like 63 million in your financial statement. This is very, very this is very, very huge. So that is the first thing that the auditor needs to do. The nature, the circumstances, is it intentional or unintentional? And this one is unintentional. And what is the effect on the financial statement? Then the second action, you now need to discuss with the management. Discuss with the management. What are you trying to do? Ofwat is saying this so thing now. What are you trying to do about it? What are you going to do? Sometimes we'll still fight it to take them to court because. So as the auditor, just make some inquiry from the manager. What do you want to do? There are some cases that it has been there for like 3 years and they're still fighting it. Because if we can prove that I'm not the one, I'm not the cause, it's the farmer. Then, then the next thing is you need to take some legal advice as well in certain circumstances. So as the auditor, discuss with the management, discuss with their board, discuss the you can even take some legal advice outside. That my client is Southwestern Water, and Ofwat ask them to pay this so amount. What am I going to do? Is there a chance? So you can give it to an external legal advisor. Please advise me. Based on this case, my client now is so complain, and they have the regulator asks them to pay certain fine. Please, from this particular scenario, is there likely that they will win this case? So you can take a legal advice, discuss with their management, or those their CEO, their CFO, have a meeting with them. They can go further with the board if needed. So the first thing is management is like your intermediary. So even sometimes at the end of the day, it will die in the management. There's no need of you requesting for a meeting with the audit committee again. Then you can seek some legal advice. Then the third one is now for you to evaluate the implication on other aspect of the of the auditor. Then you can also take some action. We need to reassess the client integrity. Do some sampling size for the rest of the audit, check for the materiality. The future of the auditor client, at least the first one is the most important thing, is the client integrity. Like for example, now this is an aspect of NOCLAR. It doesn't mean that the management team are not It doesn't mean that the management team are not of integrity, but you still need to work to reassess them. So if I'm using this particular case, I would not even go to number 5. I'll be sorry, that number 3, because it doesn't have any effect, but you can still do it as well, reassess them. The next one is what you evaluate the impact on the audit work, on the audit report. Is it going to still be possible for me to say that the words on Southwest Water now, their financial statement shows a true fair view? Is it going to still possible to say what, oh, Angling Water now, your what, your financial statement shows a true fair view? So you still consider all those what non-compliance on what, you consider all those non-compliance on the area of the what, on the area of the audit. Then I think what was the next one? The next one is what, determine whether to report, especially if it is unresolved. Do you need to what? Do you need to take it to what? You need to report it. But if it is this case, there's nobody to report it. So then as well, you document. So these are the words. These are the auditor responsibility from the word, from the article. So the first thing in summary, you need to understand, you discuss, you look for the implication, you check whether there's a need for you to report, then as well you document. So in end product, it's just like a what? Just like a 5 tasks that you need to do as well as an auditor. Understand it, discuss the implication, the regulator, then what is the, you need to document as well. So these are the what? These are the steps. These are some of the what, the responsibility that you as well as an auditor, you are expected to what? You are expected to follow when it comes to what, non-compliance. And this is a very, very crucial what aspect in your what, in your audits. By the time we get to what, to planning, I think maybe starting from, let's say next week now, or maybe the upper one, at least we should complete what, syllabus section A to C. So syllabus section D start on what, from planning, and that is what the main aspect of the word of the audit. So, and in planning, for even for our planning to be very, very effective, understanding our what, our client business is what is the most important thing. It will influence my planning. And that's why sometimes we need to ask this question, it's about their industry. Oh, let's say for example now, I'm doing what now? Let's at least in Nigeria, I'm doing the audit of NCA. So if I'm doing the audit of NCA now, the first thing I need to do is I need to understand their regulation. Once you understand their regulation, it is what I'll even understand the business. Once I understand that, okay, this is their regulator, you understand the business. Once you can understand the industry, that, oh, my client is in what, they are in telecom. So let's say NCA now, at least to some of us from Nigeria here, you understand this. So I'm doing the audit of NCA now. Then the next thing is what, I need to be thinking of their regulator. And their regulator should be what, I think there's a what, and that should be Ministry of Communication or something. That will regulate them. Assuming that maybe it's in UK, that should be Ofcom. So if first of all understand their regulator, then the next thing that you now need to do now is, okay, I can ask, okay, well, because you're not going to do anything that is against the regulator. That's just it. Look, you can see this one, and this particular comment I'm saying, okay, they give them words, offered approved words, 104 billion for what, from App 8. So meaning now that in the next 5 years now, the investment in what, in the water sector now is not going to be more than this word, 0.104. Because it is from this 0.4 that we are now going to distribute it to all the water companies that are operating in this particular sector. This is their word, this is their target. So you know that the whole of them, the whole, maybe they're like, I think more than 10, their investments, especially on their reservoir, is not going to be more than what, 0.14 for the whole of that world, for the whole of this cutoff date between 2025 to 2030. That is a cutoff. So I know as so any investment, any capital expenditure that what my client is doing now, because this is what the regulator gives them. And I'm very sure none of them will do above this. but it will varies. It will vary. The one that you give what, because there are some that, especially what Anglian is a little bit big, so they can give them more than the one you give what Southwestern. It depends on your coverage. Maybe like for example, now let's say even in Nigeria now, we have we have more states in the north. So let's say for example now my own is just to service the north. So if I'm servicing the north, now even sometimes what we usually look at is the number of household. You can have a number of landmarks, but what is the population? Because it's the population that will drive their revenue. So maybe using Nigeria as a case study now, there's tendency that we'll have more people in the south. No, they're not that big, no. So because even from election, the north result is usually very big. So you can see now that it means now that the number of people in the north now is more than the south. So meaning that I'm going to have higher revenue in the world. So if I'm the one now that I'm servicing the north, due to the population now, I know that my revenue will increase. Just like for example, now let's say you are a company now, you are servicing Lagos. So due to the population now, and let's say someone is, this is Lagos, there's another one is servicing in my state, Kwara. So the population of Kwara is the population of Lagos is more than Kwara. But if you are looking at it from the landmarks now, Kwara may be high, but I'm not really going to generate revenue from that. So it is from this 104 now that will not be given to each individual entity. So whatever this particular regulator give you that, this should be your investment, you can dispute it that, this thing is too much for me, I can't do it. Then that will now there's another authority, let's call it CMA, Competition Market Authority, and you will now go to say to challenge whatever of what is giving you. So each of the regulator, they have a target for each of the company. So these are your responsibility. And lastly now, let's now check through these two questions. So we have one in December 2013, and we also have in June 2015, and December 13 is question 3B, and June 15 is what? June 15 is
2B.
2B, and which is 9 marks. So I think these are the one that I can see from now to date relating to this particular aspect. So let's start with now. Which one is 13? I can't even identify what I can use. This is 3B. So which one? 3B. Good. What else? Okay. So I think let's do a division of labor. Let me take the lowest one. So I'll do I'll do the 6 mark one, then you guys will Then you guys will do the 9 mark one. So let's start. I think that is both, if I'm right. Okay, so there's it. So I think let me try to come in place. I think let me save this file. Come in, please. Just give me some few seconds. Sorry. So you can you can start having a look at it. Just start reading it. Let me zoom it in a little bit. Some of us that maybe are using your phone, you should be able to be okay. So just read through this case. Let's see. Okay, and I think let's go together so that we can read it together. We are only interested in what? The B part. So let's go. Let's say what, but look at the requirement first. They say in relation to the management discussion note to report the what? The incident to the National Coal Mining what Authority. Discuss the what? The responsibility and recommend action that should be taken by the what? By the firm. So let me just copy this and dump it here. So this is what we are trying to do. So, and I think this is so that you guys are able to remember. This is June. This is the December. Right. So we are asked to do certain things now. So it's two things. Discuss the responsibility and recommend action. So this is our task now. We should what is the responsibility of who? I think that is our audit firm now, Abby.
Yeah.
Who is what? Yeah, so we are what? We are the auditor. So what they are requesting for now is what is our duty? So let me just do some breakdown. So the first thing that we are looking at is responsibility. And the next one is action. Action of who self. So these are the two things that we need to do. What is our responsibility as the auditor? And what are the words? The action that should be taken by the word by the firm. So this one is also like what now? Second thing. So in end product, this is auditor what? Auditor action. And this one too is like, so that you guys please don't forget, this is also like auditor what? Auditor responsibility. Abby. So once you go to the exam, at least in that the work part that you be provided with, just start do a sketch something that what that you can do so that at least we know where we are going. So these are the things that the examiner is requesting from us now. So the next thing now is let's now start reading the case. So please let me start from the beginning. Sorry. The company owns 10 mines across the country from which the coal is extracted before being sold onto what customer who are energy what provider. Coal mining company operate under what license from the National World Coal Mining Authority, an organization which monitor the environmental impact of coal mining operation and require coal mines to be operated in compliance with what the health and safety regulation. You're an auditor manager. It's a very good post. You enjoy it. And responsible for the audit of this company, and you are reviewing the audit working paper for the year ended August 31st, 2013. The draft financial statement recognizes what a profit before tax of this and 175 more total assets. The audit senior has left a note for your attention. So there was a certain incident that occurred. On August 15, 2023, there was an incident at the Leisure Hill mine, where several of the tunnel in the mine collapsed, causing other tunnel to become flooded. This has resulted in one-third of the mining becoming inaccessible, and for safety reasons, the tunnel will be permanently closed. However, the client management think that the rest of the mine can remain operation as long as improvements are made to ensure that it meets the health and safety regulation. Luckily, no one was injured at school. However, the collapse caused subsidency which has damaged several residential property in the village located above the mine. A surveyor has been commissioned to report on whether the property need to be demolished or whether they can be safely repaired. A group of 20 residents has been relocated to rental property in the local area, and the company is meeting all expenses in this relation. Is it affecting the locals as well? Let me just highlight this one because we don't know. The mine was acquired several years ago and is recognized in the draft at 10 million. As no employee were injured in the incident, the company has decided not to report. Okay. I think my brain is working now. So, what do you guys think? What's your responsibility? The question is very clear. What's your responsibility and what action do you think you can take? People of God, it's a very interesting one. At least from this last paragraph now, it's making my brain to work now. Anybody? Adam, and what do you think?
I'll say they have poor internal control. I mean, the management's responsibility is to ensure that there is a sound internal control in place. So for there to be an accident in the first place, I mean, there actually could be an accident, but I mean, if the necessary internal control were in place, it might not as the accidents could have been avoided.
Okay.
I don't know. And no employees were injured, so they were just lucky. So it could be just maybe one off.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So, can you think of anything? What do you think is our responsibility? Let's even start it from the first question. What do you think is the auditor responsibility here? And what do you think action that we can take? The last paragraph looked very easy for me. And I hope you guys can also see that. And it's going to be part of the answer that we are thinking about as well. Let's say what it was, as no employee was injured in the incident, the company has decided not to report it. Do you think that is fine?
No, that's not fine.
That's not fine. That's not. So they still need to. They still need to report.
They were supposed to report it to the necessary authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How this thing so occur.
Oh God, yeah.
So I think that should be even our first one.
So the auditor should try to probe why they decided not to report their accidents.
Yeah, so those are some of the things that even I can ask the management to do. Or maybe I can even seek legal advice. How certain things occur in my client's plant. And they are saying that, but what about if the regulator later will be aware of what is going to be the impact? So that's why, as an accountant or even as auditor self, there are some things that you can't give answers to be honest. And that's why most of the time they will say what you seek an advice, and just like maybe some of us, if you are working as well, if you see that something is not it's not right, or maybe you are not sure, please always try as much as possible to ask questions. I can remember there are some time whereby if they second me to a client office, and they'll ask me so question. Okay, I'll just okay as a consultant. Okay, yes, I'll be doing as if I want. I know everything, but at the end of the day, once I just sit down, I'll just try to have a chat with my manager or some of my colleagues at the work in the office. Oh, certain scenario occur. What do you think I can do on this? Because you don't want to make a word, you don't want to mix, you don't want to do something at the end of the day. So always try as much as possible to we seek the legal advice. If you are doing something, if you feel that it is not clear, just ask. Sometimes it's better for us to and that's why I think someone asked me sometime, it was one interview some years ago. They asked me that between timeliness and what an accuracy. Which one I should what I'll give priority to between timeliness. Okay, as a finance business partner now, okay, they expect me to provide a report on time. Okay, and then I ask the other one, which is the integrity, the quality of the information. So which one should come first? And let me ask the class, which one do you feel? The integrity or the timeliness? You guys should say something. I'm doing interview for you guys now. So which one will you go for?
Integrity
Yeah, it should be.
is very vital.
Yeah, because so let's our responsibility. So it's just like you doing copy and paste in this one. What is our responsibility, sir? You can just go back. Let me even think of what we have said. Our responsibility is to what to do this any instance of not complying and take appropriate action. So there's no really more stress on this one. So just for us to say that the what the audit firm. What's our name? Both. What's our responsibilities to that case? No, our responsibility is not really that much, to be honest, because you have the ultimate responsibility for it. Our own responsibility is to do plan and perform and remain what exercise your professional skepticism to the world to the end. Plan and perform the audit. Fine. Instance of no. Any instance of non-compliance. What is dictated? There's nothing we can write again. That's our responsibility. Should not be more than that. Okay, so that is what. Oh, sorry, this thing is loading. Oh, so the next thing is just to write something on this. The accident. Sorry, is that done? I think there's one particular time that was used. The leash mail. LADGH. LADGH. Just copy what you have in the question. No one was injured. So, yeah, I'm doing like that. Sure. One, let me start it, which is from the word. Which is on the last paragraph. Is to what? Let's take it on the last one. Then we can be thinking of the words. They don't want to report. Abby. So I can ask words. We can seek what now? So you can say seek legal words, legal advice. Whether the incident is reportable. Because to be honest, it's not everything that you need to tell them, no sure. It's like, for example, now I have fire alarm. So if you have fire alarm at the office, you need to tell a regulator or something. So it's not everything, but through the legal advice, you'll be able to watch. We're able to take the word. They were able to advise us. So seek legal advice whether the incident is reportable to what? To regulator. Considering because they're after health and safety, considering no one was injured. Okay, please, what can what can we think of anymore? And one thing that we can also look at least in every company, especially those in this sector, like those are the front line. That the engineer, they usually have what a log. If we look at what if some of us have worked in maybe in all this manufacturing company or a plant, they will have a log, even some sector as well. So there are some area that for every activities that occur, there should be a log. Just like for example, I think okay, there's something happened. So let's say for example now you are in what? Let's say you went to a clinic now or to a hospital now. So they usually have what? They usually have what do they used to call this thing? I forget. My sister used to write it though. So whereby anything that happened, you would document it. That okay, oh, when I was what as a doctor now, I was working on this so ward. These are some of the things that happened. So we can request for that log as well, the activities log, or sometimes they'll call it incident log. So these are something that you can always think of as well. In a manufacturing sector and something like this would occur, there should be what incident log in terms of what, and the reason why you're trying to what to look at the log, the activities log, or sometimes they'll call it workbook, or maybe some of us will remember during our undergraduate. You know, when we see, I think for the level then, like when we go for what for IT, there usually was one logbook that they okay. I can't remember to fill it. No, just so there's one logbook that you feel that okay, today's day, these are some of the things that were. These are so you can also what request for that word. You can also request for that particular word book as well. So I can say what investigate the incident word. So just think of what are some of the things that we can do. The incident word log book to confirm whether okay, because they said that no one was injured. So I can also check. I can say investigate the word the logbook to confirm whether the claim of
No, we can't see your board.
oh oh sorry. Let me stop sharing and try again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can you see it now? Let me try to
Still
zoom
coming
in.
up.
Okay, let me hold on.
I wanted to ask.
Can you see? Can you see my this 2007?
Yeah, I can see your board from my own end. I mean,
Okay.
I can see
Mm.
you're trying to, yeah, you're on question point 2 for auditors action.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Madam Amazing, what you can do is sometime like this.
Is it from
Just
my
try.
network?
Yeah, well, you can just try to log out and log in again sometime.
Okay.
happened.
Then I
Yeah.
wanted to ask,
Go
is
ahead.
there no need of like scheduling a meeting with the management to actually
Sure.
hear from them?
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
action. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's part of action I will do
Okay,
as
I'm
well.
seeing it now.
Okay, that's fine. So I can say what now? I want to say, okay, investigate the logbook to confirm whether the claim of this about no one was injured. Okay,
Good. Yeah.
this is what is right. Right
So, and
or wrong. As this will. Please, you want to say anything? Please help me as well.
yeah,
Because
I wanted to say that the auditor needs to try to find out, or I mean, investigate the effects on the financial statements, because
oh,
from
sure.
the report, from the notes rather, it says that after the accident,
Mm,
1/3 of the mine become inaccessible.
yeah.
So
So this is
you have
like
to- yeah.
yeah. I'll write something. Let me just okay. Don't worry. I get what you are saying. And what am I even trying? Investigate the accident on the logbook to confirm whether the
Yes.
complaint claim that no one was injured is what is right or wrong,
Yes.
and this give
I'm
understanding
good.
to
I'm coming.
about what about the nature about the nature of about the nature of the part and the circumstances. Is that and the circumstances. Yeah. Okay. Madam, you're trying to say something then. The
Yeah, I was saying that
that
the
is
auditors
the
to check
implication on the financial statement,
the
Abby.
financial statements. Yeah, if
Yes,
1/3 of
sure.
the yeah.
Evaluate the implication of the incident. Yes, absolutely correct. The implication of the incident on the what? On the financial what? The financial statement. And which standard is this? Because since all, then which standard can relate to this? Anybody? Which account standard do you feel is good here? Is it not IS 36? Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, IS 36, yes. Because it's this like an indicators of impairment. Yeah. IS 36 what there has to be an impairment. So if something like this occur, then it's like, there was a time, so that you guys will agree with it. There was a time that they are saying that it nothing can work again. And the management later come back and say that they can do repair. So this is an indicators of impairment. But there's one part. They say this resulted in 1/3 of the mine become what inaccessible. And
yeah.
for the safety reason, the tunnel is permanently what closed. So if
Yeah.
something like this occur, then they need to conduct what? They need to conduct an impairment test. So
I yes,
if it,
since
yeah, IS
can
36, yeah. So but
yeah, 36 impairment and then 16 property plant and machinery.
yes, even 37 can go, even sell. Because you can make a provision because someone can come back later in the long run and they'll say that it affect them.
Oh yeah.
There was
That's
a yeah, there was a time, is it not BP, British Gas, whereby they have a I think that one is in Scotland. It has been long ago. Or even let's say we lose our local current reserve. There was a oil word. If there's a oil spillage in Bayelsa now, I can wake up one day and I will sue them. So someone can just wake up as they okay, I'm the head of family, and I'll say that what something that happened in so years. I want you guys to pay me for it because it's affecting me. That's like in the West, they will just like that, oh, it's affecting my mental health. But
yeah.
when I remember. So okay, that's fine. So if any. Yes, it's true. It's in Africa that sometimes we forget things a lot. Let me just leave them. You just see that what I've seen a situation whereby the case is even what This one occur in what, in Germany, and there was a particular company. It's a motor company. Is it not? I forget the name of the company, but it's a very big company in Germany. They are into automobile. So there was a time that they released a certain car, but it was a little bit faulty. Something happened. Although the company will do recall, but recently, so after like 10 years, someone still has them to pay them compensation as a result of that effect. I think maybe someone lost his life or something happened. So the guy was just like, "Oh, I remember what." Remember one of his family members lost his life as a result of your product. Then he's asking for compensation.
Wow.
And you can remember, if you look at it critically, you'd be like, okay, it's fine now. Should be it's you guy that killed his father. And as a result of that,
But why didn't he recall in motor when they?
No, it was recall. For example, now I can roll out a certain product now, and
Okay.
maybe someone lost his life or something like that. So we now later do some
Okay.
investigation that, maybe it's like you driving and the brake or something happened. And the
Mm.
reason as a result of that is because of the faulty from that particular car, which is caused
Okay.
by the manufacturer.
Okay.
So yeah, this is, if any, and I think we think of I as what now? This is, you can just write, if any, like any what? Any need of impairment. Impairment of what? Position. Okay. I think someone doesn't make mention of another point. I can't remember. What else? Seek legal advice. This one is like what now? This one is like documentation. Seek legal advice. Evaluate the implication. Another thing we can also look at is evaluate on the audit report. Evaluate the implication. So is this still going to allow me to say that the financial statement shows a true and fair view? Evaluate what the implication on the opinion. The implication. And the manager. Any other thing? I think we can always go back to this. This is from the article, and this is what the examiner is expecting you. Some of the things that you can say. Please don't forget, this is from the article. So, once you have any words, when we are discussing, once you have anything article, the examiner will expect you some of the things that they are expecting from us. So, let's say obtain understanding, discuss with the management. I think we have evaluate the implication, the impact, determine whether to report. So, I think determine whether to report. We need to think whether we need to report to the regulator, consider the national law. So, and that should be like our last action. In case if you want to make mention now that, maybe you yourself, you are going to what? You feel like reporting to the what? Reporting to the authority now, then that should be your number one. That should be like your last rest. The first thing, do some internal one before you can ask it that, you want to go and report them, just like you want to do whistleblowing. Then you need to first of all check the fact very well before you can. And most of the time, I don't think you even see any auditor that will go directly to the what. The maximum thing that most of them will do is for you to resign from the work, from the engagement. If you feel that it is not what. So you just take some legal advice. I don't know if anybody also have anything to add to this as well. So seek legal advice. This is important. Then the implication on the words. Thank you very much for this. The implication on the financial statement. And we also talk about the evaluated on the opinion. That's also another very important one. Then investigate the words. This one's like you checking from the word from the management. Check their logbook. If any incident occur, then there should be it. Can we think of anyone? If yes, we can always document it out. So let's now words. I think there's another one, then we leave this one. Right, this one is what? Sorry, let me check. 15, 9B, 2B, 2B. Okay. Okay, so this is the word, the 2B. Do we understand this? Is there any question, please, before we go? What's your duty and what are the action that you need to take? If you think of anything, just don't the key thing is just try as much as possible. You can draft it in different way that is different from here, but the concept should be the same. What do you expect the auditor to do? What do you want the auditor to do in that situation? So some of us, you can remember some point that is not really relating to this, but it should be contingent enough. You should relate to it. That certain things has occurred, and that what are the action that you as an auditor you need to take, because it's your responsibility. Making sure that your client comply with what laws and regulation, it is two of you. It is a split responsibility. Carry out your audit and remain alert. Plan your audit. Remain alert of any instance of non-compliance. And the examiner articles is already very clear. Now, these are some of the things you should do. You understand it, you discuss, you look at the implication, you think of whether you need to inform the regulator, you document as well. And they have done the documentation now because we are reading from the word. We are reading from the senior, you can see the audit senior. So the documentation is already present. So let's now go to adding group now. Let's say discuss the implication of the audit senior note for the completion of the audit, commenting on the auditor responsibility in relation to the laws and regulation and on any ethical matter. So let me just tell us how you should draft this particular word. You should draft this particular one, and you can also write something on that. Then it's possible that we are going to close very early today. So let me just tell us how you need to do this. So this is on. So this is, I think, hold on please. This is June 2015. So this is on June 2015, and we are asked to what? So let's just do some words. Let's do some brainstorming together. Holding. So the audit senior left the following note for your words for your attention. I've been working on the audit of properties, including the group's storage facility warehouse. Customer rent individual was self-contained storage area of warehouse, which they are giving key, allowing access by the customer at any time. The group employee barely entered the customer storage area. Its team, the group policies for storage contracts, which generate revenue of less than 10,000, is that very little documentation is what is required. The nature of the item being stored is not always known. Let's even read this case from the beginning itself, because so that we can have a proper understanding of what this business is. Let's look at it from the beginning. Let's just know what the company is doing. Let's say the words how the group has been the auditor of your client for several years. You have been assigned to act as audit manager, replacing the manager who fell ill. Oh, sorry about that. The audit of the group financial statement for the group activities include what property management. Okay, that's fine. Here, this is what I just want to depict. What are they doing? Because if we just go to the word, although what we want to solve now is just what B. So this is what the company is doing. The group activities include what property management and the provision of large storage what facility in the warehouse owned by the group. So this is what this company is doing. This is what they are what. This is what this company is what. This is what they are into. Now, the next thing now is we know what they are doing now. So let's go to B part. So let's start it from again. You are word. I've been working on the audit of what property, including the storage, customer rent, individual self-contained storage area of warehouse, for which they have been given a key, allowing access by the customer at any time. So meaning like just like going to be like a big warehouse. And in this warehouse now, everybody will have his own location. Like for example now, there's just like an example. Which one can I use? Anybody, can you think of anything, please? Let me just say a large warehouse. At least when we have a background picture.
Maybe they were giving rooms to rent close to the warehouse.
Like yes, it's like that. So it's like let me look for one image that look like look at can this one work? For example, look at this image. Is it okay? It's like oh no. Let me just look for one better one, then I'll use it to explain this. Look at this now. It's like it's like there's entrance in each. It's it can be a big warehouse like this, but everybody have his own have
The
his own entrance.
compartments.
Yes. So you can I think this one look better. So this is my own door. This is your own door as well. So you can see there's let's assume now that okay, this is the big warehouse, but everybody have his own we have different tenants. So this one can be like 10. So this is meaning that we are going to have 10 tenants. So this is like what this company is doing. So for which they are giving key, allowing them so you can access at any time, just pay your rent. That's it. It seems that the group policy for storage contract would generate revenue for these is that very little documentation is required. And the nature of the item being stored is not always known. So meaning now that what the customer store, you don't even know. That's be thinking of it from the bad implication. You see, when you are reading audit question, always be thinking in negative terms. Like you have a warehouse now. This is my warehouse. You are the owner of this big building now. What this particular guy store in his own words, you don't know. Please now think now. What do you think is the implication of that? Anybody, please, just try.
Like, they might decide to store contraband goods or.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma. So it may be what I decide to store the item that is against the public policy. So just be most of the time be looking at it from okay, what is going to be the negative implication? That you don't know, like you don't know the nature of the business of your customer. What is the implication of that? Let's go again. While visiting one of the group warehouse, the door to one of the customer large area was open. So I look in. Please, are you guys saying what? So so I look in and I saw what appeared to be potential words. Look at that is just what item. Store in a large mental drum marked with warning sign. I asked the warehouse manager about the item being stored, and it become very aggressive. Wow. Madam Yano, are you together, please? I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, with you.
I think we have come across something like this before, that the guy become aggressive. Is it not where, sir? Is it not maybe on fraud or something? And
Yes, it's
it
on
become
fraud.
very yeah, it become very aggressive, refusing me to work,
Yeah.
to ask other employee about the matter and threatening me. Ah, I mean, I will not continue reading this one. And threatening me to work, allows me to the management of those warehouse. I did not mention the matter to anyone else. I declined. So that is very, very what? That's very good from the senior. Mm. So then I said that well, discuss the implications. So this is the task now that I'm given. What are you going to do?
Why did you say the auditor, the senior auditor, not mentioning it at the client
So it
warehouse?
didn't.
Why is it a good thing?
Yeah, sometimes why is a good thing that I'm looking at it is if I inform them, I'm just thinking at it from the angles of money laundering.
Okay,
If I
so
start,
not
yeah,
escalating the situation at that
yeah,
moment.
yes. If I inform someone, it's like that's what we call tipping off. They'll be like, okay, auditor, what are
Yeah.
you interested of? They'll start thinking in, well, okay, it's like this guy wants to before the guy will fly out of the country. Because if I
Okay.
inform you now that okay, if I inform one of their clients, I don't know who I'm because you're an external to them. You still have that, in audit, what you just have is what? You have that negative thought that if I inform someone within the business, that guy can go and also inform someone that, oh, our auditor asked this
Oh,
question.
yeah.
So they'll start what? So, like, for example, I just discussed with that particular man and he threatened me. For example, now, if let's say, for example, now the guy went to go and meet another individual and he asked that, oh, did Wasu tell you anything? And the guy said, oh, Wasu did not tell me anything. It will be like his threat is working now, Abi.
Yeah.
So at some moment, once you feel something like this, okay, we just keep quiet then. You will not bring it to our own words. At least we are the auditor. Just leave the client alone first. There are sometimes that it's just like you doing a background check first, then before you now start attacking them. So by the time you are presenting the evidence now, it's like you know everything. I can even there's something which you can even do, just like if police is watching that, you can even send someone to them as if you want to buy, just to watch them to even get more information. Okay, it's like a warehouse. I can go to that warehouse and just do some survey. Oh, what is this item? I can just touch that drum. Like, okay, I want to buy, just to get more information about the nature of their business. So at that moment, if you didn't discuss it, I'm still going to come back to the client. But at that moment, you just need to just back off a little bit and let's think of the next action that we can do. And if you remember on that one, money laundering, when the audit senior inform other client, I think one of our comment in audit that is bad. Because if you start informing everybody, the guy will know that is under investigation. And you can just say that the guy is already in Bahamas. You can't extract it. So I think that's one of the reasons I'm feeling like, okay, maybe the action that the guy is doing now is a little bit not bad. So what we are interested now to do is to look at there are two things. Let's discuss the implication on the senior audit notes. So tax now. Let me call it brainstorming now. One, likely what? Likely implication. And this particular part is on what? We've been not able to answer this one, but is on completion of what? Completion of audit. which is we are yet to get to that point. The second one is still like 3 in 1. The next one is the auditor responsibility. What do you think is the auditor responsibility? And the last one is also asking for ethical ethical matters, if any, in the case. Okay, what am I writing, sir? So this is the word now. This is the task that I'm interested in now. One, what do you think is our responsibility? Let's focus on the last two. What is our responsibility here? Think of it. But now, what do you think is the auditor's? Let's read it. Let's say time. Like, okay, the auditor responsibility is clear. I can still copy the previous one and dump it here.
Yeah.
But what do you think is especially on this last part? Do you feel that there's any ethical responsibility here? Because they are asking for that. Like, what do you feel is the auditor responsibility?
Okay, ethical from the company's
Yes, I'll say something if you answer, please. And the audit, let me try as much as possible to let me just open our mind, like what I'm expecting you to have. The auditor responsibility, this is just it. I will not write too much here. I can say one, what do you expect the auditor? Let's even focus on that word, that on item. What do you expect the auditor to do?
Okay. For the part where is it the I can't remember
Let me go back. Don't worry.
Okay. Where the manager, no, one of the employees was threatening the auditor. The auditor can seek legal advice.
Yeah, thank you very much.
On how not to proceed on that. I mean, he's from there. I mean, he's going to have a skepticism mind.
Yeah.
I mean, he noticed that some hazardous chemicals were stored in that part of the warehouse. So he will need to probe to understand what's going on, how the circumstances that led to the chemicals being stored there, and then seek legal advice as well.
Yeah, those are those are the auditor responsibility here. So what I just want to point out here is on this particular word now part, it will be different from the first one that we just talked about. This part, what you are expected to write here now is like the action that you should take as the auditor. So the auditor is in relation to law. So here now, what you should think of now is about, okay, there's the subject matter now is that chemical stuff. And what do we now think? What do you think we can do?
Investigate.
You investigate. So we can even what? This is what the folk. Don't forget what this is like. What we need to do. This is the guide. You need to first of all what? As the auditor, you need to understand the laws and regulation applicable to to the group. If you are what? This is the guide. So the first thing I can say now that the auditor need to understand the law and regulation applicable to the group. That's the first thing. For me to know whether my client is right or it is wrong, you need to first of all understand the law. That and storing what? If you store this chemical, it seems to be what? It seems to be against the regulation. It's likely going to breach the regulation. So I can say something now that storage, at least this one can even be like the opening paragraph. So I can start with now by saying that if I want to write now, that storage of hazard chemical is likely going to breach action is expected. No. The next one, I can also say I think we can also what else can we say? Understand the law. What else? We also make mention of something, if I remember, then the auditor can seek legal what? Abi? What do you think? The guy can seek legal advice now, Abi?
Yeah, if he doesn't understand the
Yeah.
regulation of the industry they operate.
Yeah. Even I can even be looking at it from the financial statement first. Okay, understand the laws and regulation. Then, even before because sometimes when you are doing something in audit as well, try as much as possible to arrange it in a proper way. I need to understand the law before I can even seek legal advice now. I need to first of all understand it now. Do you, Abi, now?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And another thing is that I also need to do so when you are trying to bring up the answer, always try as much as possible to arrange it in a logical, like okay, for example, now just like maybe in our accounting standard like IS 36, we said that you need to first of all assess whether there's an indicator. Abi? So if I want to do impairment now, the first thing is to check, does the indicator exist? Let's just like for example, if the indicators does not exist for like all those PP, then there's no need of you doing it. So the first question has to, under US regulation, for example, in IFRS, there's a little bit different between what they are using in US. In IFRS, you can perform an impairment test, and at the end of the day, there's no impairment. In US, their own regulation is that it is when you are sure You don't just do it if you work, if you feel that okay, it's not. I just want to test. No, the word it must be probable that impairment will occur. So another thing that I need to do now is I can say that we should require what further what because I just peep. It's not as if I open it. So further evidence should be what should be obtained. So at least it's good that you just go back. Then you can ask about the what about the storage. What do you think is another very they are receiving money, not sure. Happy because the client is paying. So what about that's why to be honest, that's why you think in what in because they are paying us because it's not for free. So what about if my client did not receive that revenue? What is going to what is it going to affect them? What is the materiality itself? They have profit before tax of this. Happy 20 million.
Yes.
So and they say it's less than 10,000. Which generates a less than 10,000. So it's very, very what? It's very, very low now, Abi. So even if the guy said that, oh, I'm going, Abi, it's not really what? It's not really affecting my client now. So you can also write something that, okay, just like we make mention earlier, what is the implication for the what? For the financial what? For the financial statements. The implication for the what? For the financial statement. If our clients lose is the overall revenue from all the customer is less than 10,000. This is and you can work forward. You can always prove it. Let's even assume that it is 10,000. If you say, let me to say 10,000, I would believe this is likely to be material. So you need to since a number is given to us, so we can always check. If you say 10,000 of is an item because this is like income now. Every other income will credit our POL now. So use profit before tax. 10 million, that's be like 0 point something, but just write it. I don't because I want to change what I'm writing and it's likely going to be material. I want to say that it is not going to be material, but you need to prove it. So let me to say 10,000. Let's even use the highest number. 10,000 divided by 20 million multiplied by 100. How much is that? It will give you 0.00 stuff. So I don't just want to say it's likely going to be material since I have the number. And why you guys are thinking
0.05. 0.05
is 0. So sorry, as the overall revenue from the customer. So I need to delete all this now. The overall revenue from the customer is what? As the overall revenue from the customer is not material. Is 0.0. Just 2 decimal, please.
Yeah, 0.05.
0.005. So then this one will not be, I think 20 million will be.
20 million, yes.
So that is that. Then I think Madam Yanu, you also make mention of another one, which is to seek legal advice. So you can also say the audit firm, may wish, but that one should be like our last thing if you don't want to say anything again. Then I can also words just to write one point. The guy is threatening us that you should not tell anybody. So this one will fall under ethics now, Abby. If you guys
Yes.
remember. So this one is, and what threat is that? Is it self-review? Is it advocacy? How many do we have said? Which one? Let me even highlight it now. Where is it, sir? Can't even see it again. Am I reading? Okay, it's there. Sorry.
Mm.
So very aggressive and allow me to work to other employee. Threaten that if I alert, threaten me if I alerted
The
management.
intimidation.
Yes, my it's not like that's intimidation now.
Yeah.
So and where's it's like for example now, you can even say this man is what I don't even know where his man. It's very funny. It is my company that owns the warehouse. So it's like you are the landlord.
Oh.
You are the how do they used to call it now? You are the you are the landlord daughter now, or you are the
Landlord,
son,
yeah.
and the tenant is not saying that. So just
Mm.
so another thing you can just write what intimidation. At least we need to report that, but that is afterwards we have enough evidence, and which we have make mentioned earlier. It's like tenant threatening threatening landlord,
Mm.
intimidation and what threatening. Or those charge with governance, but you don't need to go to those chat with governance. So let me just say if any, because you don't need to meet them all the time. And another thing that you also need to do, this company is also at fault. Abby, I don't know if you guys will agree with it.
Yeah.
There's
This
also a,
company,
yes, there's also a control as well because it's like someone renting an apartment from you and you don't even know details about them.
yeah, because of lack of documentation too.
Yeah, so this is also a control deficiency.
Mm.
So you can also these are also another thing, and we need to report it. Control what? Okay. So that is just the control deficiency and recommendation to be communicated to the management as as the group is not aware of the world of the customer activities. So those are some of the things. And if you feel that you are okay, then you can say the audit firm, and this is where we'll stop. The audit firm can can seek further further legal advice regarding So the this is the ethical, and we can pick from here. The remaining one are what? The normal responsibility that you should do as an auditor in relation to this work. So I think those are the words. Those are the two things. And later in the long run, I think there's still words. There's still another one. You can always keep some of the question. This one is evidence, and this one is in planning. So what we are yet to get to. So I think this is where we are going to stop. So don't forget, it's very clear there's a split responsibility. The auditor you have, the management also have as well. So basically, the law can be segregated into two. There are some laws that have impact on your financial statement, and there are some that have impact on your operating. And what is the auditor responsibility when it comes to NOCLAR in the examiner article? Obtain understanding, you discuss, you evaluate the implication, you evaluate the impact of any unresolved, you determine whether to report, and you need to try as much as possible to document. So in summary, understand, discuss, look at the implication, determine whether for you to report, you document, and you also need to think whether you need to seek a legal advice on this matter. So thank you everyone, and this is where we'll stop for today. I don't know if there's any question.
What is NOCLAR? Sorry, I'm taking you back.
Okay, NOCLAR means non-compliance with law. It's just like a short, it's
Okay,
just like acronym. So it means
okay,
non-compliance with laws and regulations.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
I wanted to ask, okay.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Audit during the exam pattern, does it have something like the case study or exhibits?
Yeah, sure. It have.
Okay.
It have exhibit, and the exhibit
What
is
of
in
pre-scene?
No, pre-scene is for SBL.
Okay.
Just like the normal case study. Let me even check once. Let me show you before we leave.
Okay.
So let me just say I think I can see what. Let me just say March 2024. That you're able to see this one. So you can go to the words. Let's go to. Sometimes I can ask you to log in. Okay. Okay, so this is like a word now. I think this is an example. So this is how the number one look like.
Okay.
You'll be given, and there's going to be some. Yeah, there'll be like this is the requirement. Then there's not going to be some words, exhibit relating to what relating to it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's usually what the planning, and that's syllabus section D. It covered the word in chapter 1. So that's where the chapter 1 comes from.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Bye.